Story posted by u/Perilans. Am I the a-hole for refusing to talk my kids into forgiving their dad? My kid's dad and I were married for a decade. He cheated on me multiple times and ended up leaving me for one of the women. This all came out during our anniversary party, which he actively helped me to plan. He went home with her that night and our marriage was over. I was heartbroken, angry, humiliated. Worse still was people in his life knew about it. His younger brother and 2 of his friends were actively encouraging it and laughing behind my back, and he was joining them. Finding it all out was hard, but our kids never heard it from me what happened. I learned how to fake a smile and civility, and I learned how to keep a distance without tension or bringing my kids into it. He and his wife treated the kids well, and I tried to focus on that while my kids were around, so they would never know. I have healed, but there will always be some anger there. Not because of the cheating exactly, but the way he treated. The allowing me to believe things were fine, while laughing behind my back with his buddies to humiliate me when we were supposed to be celebrating a milestone with our friends and family. And even after he wasn't exactly kind to me. My kids and I always had a good relationship, and this seems to have bothered my ex's wife, who they were never very close, and she started drinking a few years ago. All the kids are grown now, so it wasn't a huge concern to me. But a few weeks ago she seemingly decided to rant and rave at the kids, revealing the affair and saying they treated her unfairly. The kids are mad at their dad and her. My ex came and asked me to talk to them and convince them to forgive him. I refused. He claimed I was an ass and putting my feelings above this. But in reality, we have talked. I have told them they should not put my feelings into this, but I won't tell them not to be mad. They know more than I ever would have wanted them to know, even if I had chosen to tell them myself, which I never did. I didn't want to burden them or make them feel like they had to pick sides. I wanted them to have a healthy childhood. Am I the a-hole if I don't encourage them to forgive their dad? I know my ex is mostly worried he won't get to be a grandfather to our 5th grandchild if the kids cut him off. Now, Redditors gives the best suggestion to OP on this situation. Not the a-hole. OP, you are awesome. You have the character that I aspire to have, but know that I won't. I might not have told the kids, but when that real a-hole approached me to make it better for him, I would have unleashed all those years of suppressed emotions or anger. He'd be lucky the dog didn't bite him. Yeah. This is pretty much the perfect way to handle a situation like this, which very few manage to do so. Not because they choose not to, but this takes selflessness, and that's what she's shown. Shielding her kids from his actions, allowing the kids to grow up with a good childhood with both parents, and no resentment towards their father. Most would, and rightfully so, make it so a father like this never sees his children again, but not her. Just, wow. Not the a-hole at all. Seriously, what a class act. Even after them finding out, she still chooses to consider his feelings despite him never giving a shit about her own or his own children's when he did these misdeeds. They'll forgive him when they decide to, if they ever decide to, and that's not her responsibility, nor does it make her the a-hole if she doesn't. Seriously, something I wish I had in myself. Not the a-hole. Your kids are adults and they are allowed to make their own informed decisions about how they feel and respond to things. Your ex cheated on you and you protected him from the wrath of your children for years. They found out because his wife couldn't keep her mouth shut out of jealousy. Your ex spent months, if not years, laughing about his affairs behind your back and now expects you to save his honor and dignity. You are under no obligation to help him after his behavior during your marriage. Not the a-hole. You've spent half their lives trying to shield them from the fallout of his actions. You didn't poison them against him. You fostered a relationship between them and their father as best you could and never divulged the marital issues to them. Now, his wife sees fit to lay all that information on them out of the blue, and they are supposed to reconcile every action you and your ex and his wife have taken in light of this new information. They're understandably angry. If they were elementary age, I could see stepping in to help them process big feelings, but they're not littles anymore. They're capable of arriving at their own conclusions about what sort of people your ex and his wife are, and deciding whether and how to interact with them from here forward. You owe this couple absolutely nothing. He's enjoyed years of your covering for his misdeeds, and now expects you to go further in repairing what he broke. Screw that. If they saw fit to dump a huge helping of honesty on the kids, then they can put in the work to try to fix the relationship with the kids. You've already gone above and beyond, and it's not your responsibility to do more. Not the a-hole. Your children have discovered independently that their father was downright cruel and unkind to you. They are grown adults and are fully capable of deciding that they are unhappy with his treatment of you, their mother. You are also clearly a good, mature, level-headed person who does not want to attempt to manipulate your children's feelings on this. Your ex is clearly very comfortable with manipulation rather than facing the reality of people's emotions. He showed that when he broke up your marriage and is showing it now. It is quite possible that with the new wife's drinking and time passing, that things are not so rosy in this second marriage, and both of them are turning on their old enemy, you, to try and paper over the cracks. It may also rankle, even years later, with both of them, that you have behaved so well in the face of enormous provocation. They have failed utterly to drag you down to their level of cruelty and pettiness, and in so doing, have proved that they are the villains in this story and not you. It makes it very hard for them to justify their bad behavior when you insist on acting decently and with restraint. But then, rather than this forcing them to re-examine their actions and ask themselves some hard questions, they choose to lash out. Not the a-hole. My mom made it a rule for herself to never say a negative thing about her first husband, sperm donor and all around ass. My brother and I heard that he loved us all the time. From her, we didn't hear from him at all. If one of her friends started talking about him, she'd make them stop. No poisoning us against him. Eventually I sat her down and explained to her that we were, in fact, not stupid. We knew he didn't love us because he'd never bothered with us. She even tried to convince me that it wasn't his fault, that he was like he was. You've done nothing to poison the well. He did that all by himself, and you owe him nothing. Story posted by u/Cass's fur coat. Am I the a-hole for telling co-workers extremely bluntly why I'm not participating in the office weight loss bet? Someone got the brilliant idea to make an office diet bet due to covered gains, with people pooling in their money to see who can lose the most weight by Thanksgiving. I'm one of 7 people not participating. Lots of progos, some bodybuilders, and people who maintained their weight who aren't interested. Since I've visibly gained, they thought I'd want to participate. I didn't. Jen, in charge of everything, kept dropping by to remind me to turn in my form and my money. I said no thanks. Jen wouldn't drop it. Other people got involved, asking me why not all the time. It'll be fun. Don't be scared. I'd feel better and look better. I told them no, I wouldn't, and it's a great way to bond. We're all in it together. It's like Weight Watchers. I'm not interested, and then eventually, I said, no, drop it. They decided I wanted them to convince me. 2 weeks into the bet, they tried to trick on the scale to shock me. I contacted HR. People finally backed down. I'm eating my food one day, rice and beans. People sitting with me start dropping hints that how they feel so much better now that they aren't eating carby comfort food all the time. I said I'm glad you feel better. They took this as a sign that I knew I'd feel better again and started up saying I could still join in. I finally ducking snapped and said you guys suck. I'm a recovering anorexic. I get one whiff of competition and start starving myself for days and start puking up what I do eat until I'd have to get my 3rd oral surgery to remove rotting teeth. Does that sound worth it to you? Chorus of wow, and we were just joking. I said no, you weren't just joking. Congratulations, by the way. After you all wouldn't stop, I weighed myself for the first time in 7 years and didn't eat for 2 days. Does that make you all feel good? None of them would look me in the eye, so I just went home for the day. I got a call from the women in HR, who were shockingly supportive of me. One of the bodybuilder guys stepped up and said he's witnessed a lot of the harassment and he doesn't blame me for my outburst. A few others did too. However, they had to cancel the diet bet. I didn't ask them to, and people are blaming me, saying that I can't take a joke. It wasn't that deep, and the girls present said they no longer feel safe working with me because I obviously have mental issues. One of them made a big stink about politically correct bullshit and how I'm the typical hypersensitive millennial. I go back and forth on this all day, thinking I should have just swallowed my anger and gone back to HR or just stopped eating lunch in the office or whatever. I didn't mean to ruin anyone's fun, but I also feel justified in pushing back on their harassment. Am I the a-hole? Now, Redditors gives the best suggestion to OP on this situation. No, you're not the a-hole. Anorexia is a horrific illness and it's not something to be played around with. You were in a good place, and they put you in the bad place. I'm sorry that this has happened to you, and I really hope you are receiving the support you need. All your co-workers who have essentially tried to get you to play along are ducking a-holes. They pushed and pushed and pushed, and didn't like it when their own a-holery got a snapback, not only from you, but from HR, who I'm assuming is the one who shut down the bet. Also, who the duck bets on weight loss. That's literally how people develop illnesses like anorexia and bulimia. Cuddles from one recovering anorexic to another. Please stay safe and try to stay comfortable with eating. If you get uncomfortable again, try to speak with a professional. Not the a-hole. Your co-workers were harassing you. No matter your reason for saying no to a non-work related competition, they should have dropped it immediately. Honestly, I'd let HR know about the comments being made, especially the women saying they don't feel safe because you are recovering from an eating disorder. That seems like it could easily skew into more harassment from them based on how they've acted so far. Not the a-hole. This is a stupid ducking game to play. Like, my eyeballs were getting wider and wider as I was reading this. I read the title and went, no way, people are stupid enough to make this an actual office-wide bet. This must be a misleading title. Nope, not misleading. Your co-workers are genuinely dumb as rocks. And cruel as well. These kind of bets are best made between a small group of friends who all want to eat healthy together and encourage each other. These bets absolutely should not be made office-wide in an attempt to demean and bully people. No one is going to fully know their co-workers' health struggles, so why would you take it upon yourself to incessantly push someone into a diet or lifestyle that you perceive to be healthy for them? They are not your doctor, they are not your trainer, they are not your nutritionist, they are in no position to know your struggles and what is best for you. They shouldn't have made this dumb bet at all, but at the very least they should have stopped badgering you after you said no the first time. What a gross situation this whole thing is. They are doing the classic "it was just a joke" because they feel ashamed. And honestly, they should feel ashamed for this stupid shit. Holy shit, not the a-hole. I literally just wrote a paper on the just kidding bullshit to excuse harassment in the workplace. The subject was specifically free speech, and I took the stance that, no, offensive language is not free speech. It is hate speech. It is not just a joke. It's not funny. The target does not need thicker skin and to lighten up a little. You are 100% in the right in this situation. Jokes are not jokes when they make the but of that joke feel less than human. You were at work, bit a comedy club that you chose to patron and can thus leave at any moment. Sarah Eilert is a researcher into the use of humor to hide harassment type behavior. I believe she has written a book or two if you wish to look into it further. Stay strong, my friend. You did the right thing and anyone who feels otherwise can kick rocks. Not the a-hole. They clearly knew you were serious about not participating to the extent that you were willing to contact HR about it, so they have no excuse for continuing to harass you in whatever joking way they did. They're adults and should know how crippling peer pressure can be. They don't have a leg to stand on. I don't think the workplace is an appropriate place to make bets of such a personal kind in the first place, so they shouldn't really blame you for having the bet shut down either. And if they're so keen on it, there's nothing keeping them from having the bet outside the workplace, so long as they don't talk about it at work. It's your workplace too, so you have just as much a right to feel comfortable and not provoked as anyone else there. I'm so sorry you've been put in this position, and for how awful some people have reacted. It is absolutely incredible that your co-workers think you're dangerous. I think that attitude should be reported to HR. I gained a lot of weight during COVID too, and also have a history with weight management, though nowhere as serious as anorexia, and I hope you know that you aren't alone.